discussion here on the airways this morning. I greatly appreciate the opportunity.
Well, thank you for joining us. Glad to do it. We are trying to bring all the candidates on, give them everybody kind of an introduction kind of interview, so to speak. And then, things get a little closer to the primary. We'll do kind of debates or talks, that type of stuff. But Trey, I loved seeing you. I was just talking off air about this. I've been doing websites now as a career, not a designer. No, I'm a cut and paste kind of guy, but doing website design now for a number of years. Still looking at your website, I got to tell you, you already win the best website of the year awards. Go to folks out there, if you're near a computer, go to Kelley, Kelley, 4house.com. Spectacular website.
Wow, I appreciate that, John. We worked real hard on it, and we did that because we feel it's important for our elected officials to be responsive and transparent in their communications. And that's one thing we've really been focused on this campaign, is finding ways to reach out to voters and communicate our message and allow them to give us feedback, because that's something I feel we really need to pay attention to, is how responsive our elected officials are, to make sure that people's voices are being heard. And I look forward to using this as a tool once elected to continue to have these important conversations with my constituents.
Well, great idea getting back to the public on that, getting that input. It's got to be, like you said, it's got to be a two-way street. You're running, of course, for a House seat slightly redesigned. It used to be part of Floyd County was in that district. We had three precincts in the south part of the county. Been redrawn a bit now, takes in a little bit more Bartow, a little bit more of Haralson County as well, but District 16 still based primarily in the Polk County area. Trey, what are the issues you're going to campaign on this year and why?
John, right now, I think what we've got to be focused on in our campaign is how we can bring good jobs back to the 16th district. We have hardworking people here in Northwest Georgia who, if they're given the opportunity, they're going to work hard for an employer. But right now, we're fighting some failed policies put out by the Democrats at the national level, and it's going to be a long road to hoe. But that's really what my campaign's been focused on, is how we can bring jobs back to the area. But I'm real careful about telling people that I don't think it's the government that creates the jobs. And I feel jobs are best created when the government moves out of the way and allows our small business owners and our larger corporate employers to bring the jobs to the area.
Well, of course, Polk County and all of Northwest Georgia has seen a number of layoffs over the years. Starting to see some rebound out there as well, but not quite as quickly as we'd like. The whole Romney campaign is being built on a big push for small business, unhandcuff small business. Governor Nathan Deal in the last year was very active and a very pro-business I don't want to say platform, I guess agenda for the General Assembly. Most of that survived. It's a Republican-controlled House and Senate. Given what the governor's done this year, some of the new incentives out there, energy, et cetera, what do you think that's going to mean to business, and what can we do to bring some of that business back to Northwest Georgia?
Well, I think the governor and Speaker Ralston, as well as Senate leadership, they're all working because they realize this is a tough issue for our state, and we've got to get people working again. Me personally, I've got a 3-point jobs plan that we're talking about on the campaign trail, and we're looking to implement if we have the opportunity to serve as a representative for the 16th district. And for me, I think it starts by creating a more favorable business climate for current and prospective employers. To me, that means we've got to do things like fundamental tax reform, like we've seen the General Assembly take up this year. But we've got to continue to push to lower the tax burden on individuals and corporations in our state. And it really also means we've got to reduce the regulations. We've got to cut the red tape that gets in the way of job creation for our local businesses. John, for me, I work in small business. I work for a small manufacturer's rep agency. And I see firsthand in our business and in visiting with my customers the problems that are facing, and we've got to address those. But then also I think we've got to look at providing a viable workforce for our respective employers. And to me, this means getting away from our one-size-fits-all education model. Far too long, I feel we've educated kids in just one way. We focus only on one thing. And both my parents are educators here in Polk County, and talking with them and other educators around the area, they see the need to have their hands untied some so that they can teach students more effectively, and providing more options for parents and students in their education system. And then it kind of speaks also, we've got to have a strong quality of life so that we'll be encouraging businesses to come to our area. We've got to have the good shopping opportunities, good dining, options, and we need our schools to be strong, but I think most importantly, people need to feel safe about the community they live in, and that's going to take us addressing some of the problems we have with drugs in our state. And so we've really been focused on that throughout our campaign, is that three-point jobs plan of creating a more favorable business climate, providing that strong workforce, and then having that high quality of life so that we can bring these jobs to our area.
All right, we're talking to Trey Kelley, a candidate for State House District 16. We'll talk with Trey more after this break. It's the Hometown Headlines Radio Edition. All right, back to our What's Going On in the program today. We are talking to Trey Kelley, Republican candidate for State House District 16. Of course, we had his opponent in the primary, Jennifer Halsey, on last week. The winner of this primary, by the way, will run against incumbent Democrat Rick Crawford in the November general election. First things first, though, is going to be the primary, and we're doing kind of our introduction talk to Trey today. Trey, before the break, talked about your three-point jobs plan out there, some good points about how to create jobs locally. You're on the younger side. You're 25 years old. You're out there. You're seeing things from a different perspective. You're somebody who's new to the labor force, new to the job force. I'm sure it gives you a different perspective on all this.
Well, it does. The age, I think, is important. And something I want to make sure people understand. Our country was built on the backs of people my age. Guys like Davy Crockett, Daniel Boone, George Washington. When they were originally working to help make our country what it is, they were in their early 20s. They showed that at this age, great things can be done. And I know I'm far from those guys, but I do feel it's an important perspective that I bring to this. You mentioned me being new to the workforce. I've been in the workforce formally almost 10 years, starting when I was 16 formally, and I've been down working with small business my whole life. I remember being down at my granddad's service station here in Cedartown when I was younger and helping out around there. And so I've seen these challenges, but it does help me because I have a lot of friends right now who are looking for jobs. And we see the challenges they're facing and what prospective employers are telling them are challenges facing them. So I do feel it brings a unique perspective to the General Assembly.
Well, something that's needed, too. You hear a lot of times about, sometimes are people in office too long? Should we have term limits, whatever? To me, I'm anti-term limits. I believe that, the term limit, that's decided by the voters. We know how long somebody should be in there, and to have some mandates say, well, you got to be out there. But you like seeing fresh blood come in from time to time. It does steer things up. So much is changing right now in the Atlanta area as well with, the General Assembly, a lot of dynamics shifting down there as well. It's just interesting to see what does come out of there. And speaking of that, Trey, we got about 2 minutes left. Some of the issues out there, one of the key issues that'll be on the primary vote with your election is going to be T-Splost. Where do you come in on that?
We have transportation problems in our state. We need to address them before they become an economic burden on our state. But right now, I just don't feel comfortable, me personally, voting to increase the tax burden on individuals in our state when many are already struggling how they can put gas in their tank. And so for me personally, I'm a no vote on July 31st. I think having it on the ballot, though, has allowed us to have this important conversation about our state's transportation problems. And so I am glad the General Assembly has allowed us to have this discussion by putting it on the ballot in July. However, myself personally, I can't vote for it.
Trey, we got about 1 minute left. Tell us one more time, if folks want to know more about you, how can they find you on the internet or in person?
Well, again, John, I want to thank you for having me on this morning in WRGA. If people would like to learn more about my campaign and how we're focused on bringing good jobs back to the 16th District, they can visit my website, www.kelleyforhouse.com, KELLEYFOR house.com, or they can reach me on my email, Trey, Trey, @kelleyforhouse.com. And I look forward to speaking with you again more, John, and talking more with the constituents of this district as we look to bring new conservative leadership to this state house seat.
Well, Trey, thank you for your time today. Wish you the best of luck. And again, that website, buddy, that's one of the best I've seen for a candidate, so good luck with that. And again, Trey Kelley joined us, candidate for House District 16. Again, that is Polk County and parts of Bartow and Haralson as well. We'll talk to you more in the campaign, Trey. You have a great day, friend.
Thank you, John. You have a good day as well.
Thank you very much. All right, we'll take a break right now. We have more